Hello, this is Viper, and today we're going to be narrating Eeveelution Squad, Chapter 1, Friends and Family. My personal thoughts on this chapter are that I think it's very good. I don't think it introduces too many characters, but I don't think it introduces just one boring character. It fleshes out all the characters in a simple way, to where you get to know them. Well, except for maybe Flare. We see, like, I don't think even Flare has, like, more than 5 lines in this comic. And, to be honest, it doesn't get too much development. Though, other than that, that's my only real gripe with the first issue of this comic. I'd give it a 8.5 overall. But anyways, why don't we start actually reading a summary of this chapter, shall we? The first page of this comic shows Speedy, who is the first of his 3 to hatch amongst his brother and sister. It looks around, confused and scared. It's later implied Crystal was the second to hatch, and Flare was the final to hatch, making Flare the youngest, Crystal the middle child, and Speed the oldest, and essentially the father of the group. However, this isn't explicitly stated in the prologue. We then go to a time skip of all 3 being in their evolved forms. Flare being a Flareon, Speedy being the Jolteon, and Crystal being the Vaporeon. However, as the 3 are walking across the pathway, they notice a seemingly abandoned treehouse. The 3 crawling inside, they see an Eevee egg. Reminding him of his childhood, Speedy went to go touch the egg, though suddenly it broke in crack. As Speedy walked away, he thought he broke the egg, but it seemed the egg was actually hatching. The egg cracks and eventually hatches, revealing a female Eevee out of the egg, who presumes Speedy to be her father. A bit off guard from the question, Speedy reluctantly allows her to see him as her father. Sunshine, in response, then Tackle hugs her father. We then go back to Speedy and Crystal. We don't know Sunshine and Flare's current location, however. Speedy and Crystal seem to be heading to an also unknown location. Speedy, waiting outside for his sister, then turns to hear a feminine voice. The feminine voice proceeds to blitz our poor Jolteon. Before he could even react for the matter, now on the floor half knocked out, the Glaceon frantically apologized to the Jolteon, and continued its frantic running wherever it was going. Speedy, on the other hand, eventually got up. However, it was admittedly injured from this attack. As Crystal left her house, she saw her wounded brother at the door, admittedly worried for her brother. They went to go bandage him up, but eventually they went back on their journey nonetheless. Eventually, we see the 2 make it to their destination, seemingly a large treehouse. Crystal, who was impressed by this treehouse, goes to knock on the door with her brother. We then see the door opened by our familiar face Sunshine, who then proceeds to tackle hug her adopted father. We also see Pearl here, who is our Espeon of the group. Seemingly, she is the person who called for them to come to the treehouse, as well as buying it. Speedy eventually throws out the question about Umbreon's current whereabouts, Espeon remarking that Umbreon was right behind him, and she was right. Umbreon was right behind him. Umbreon then proceeds to remark about how there was more females than males here. However, he only saw Crystal and Pearl, so where are the other females? That question is about to get answered. Speedy then proceeds to get slammed to the ground by Sylvia the Sylveon. Now, Umbreon's quote made a little more sense. However, this attack seemed to hurt him less than Glaceon did. Maybe Glaceon was just more powerful. Anyways, we see Sylvia introduce herself to Jolteon, who still painfully agrees to the friendship. Now, the 2 had met before in Special Chapter 1, seemingly having crushes on one another in fact. However, as the summary describes, they didn't seem to recognize each other at the moment, due to Jolteon never seeing Sylvia evolved, and Sylvia never seeing Jolteon at this age. So, it makes sense once you think about it. This also explains why they would have no romantic interest in them anymore. However, Jolteon still seemingly annoyed by the attack. Then hears Umbreon state that the Sylveon was kinda cute, though Jolteon didn't know what the hell he saw in that woman. However, then we see our grass-type Eeveelution, Leafeon, introducing herself to Jolteon. Speedy then erupts in a bright red blush, clearly finding the Leafeon somewhat attractive. His little bro then asks if he was okay. Jolteon, frantically off guard by the question, nods in confirmation, confirming that he's fine, even if stuttering as he does so. We then see Leafy mention her sister. Wet, Where was her sister, in fact? She didn't know herself. In an attempt to seemingly impress the Leafeon, Jolteon then asked about what her sister looks like. And then hear the door crack open, with the following from a familiar character. Sorry, I lost my ways. You! The Glaceon that had blitzed Jolteon before had returned. This seemed to be where she was heading. They were immediately at one another's throats, literally, as Jolteon then proceeds to get uppercutted by Glaceon. Then, Leafeon, seemingly the more passive of the two, calms down her sister, who then proceeds to apologize. We then seem to jump to Jolteon contemplating to himself. Eventually, we see Sunshine and Eevee calling out to her adopted father, who proceeds to remark about, well, not calling her father. For some unknown reason. Seemingly embarrassment, though Eevee seems to nonchalantly respond about how no one was there. Jolteon, seeing that's fair, allows it. However, it seems her friend Sunshine wants to play with her father. However, Jolteon apologizes, saying that he's busy, and then went along with his usual business, even if Sunshine is visibly distressed by this. However, we see this more openly explored in Chapter 2. Anyways, back to our troubles with Lazulu and Speedy. We then hear Jolteon mutter something rather nasty about Glaceon. As a response, Glaceon seems to throw an ice ball in Jolteon's face. Once again, this causes the two to get at one another's throats again. More, not as literally this time. In the background, however, we see Leafeon and Sylveon playing catch. Sylvia throws the ball, and Leafeon seems to miss it. The ball hits Glaceon in the back of the head, causing her to fall over on Jolteon and causing an unexpected kiss. In a flustered rage as a response, Glaceon beats up the already bandaged Jolteon. We then skip to the two enemies. Jolteon, still naturally in pain, was laying on the counter, even more bandaged than before. Glaceon beside him, in a flustered, angered mess. We then go to Espeon, telling the group idea that they had decided to have a sleepover. Jolteon, seemingly reluctant against it due to the previous situation, but later, he seems to accept this fact due to what Umbreon says. Umbreon saying that they can allow it, but boys and girls should be in separate rooms, Espeon reluctantly agreeing with this statement. We then see Jolteon sleeping in his room. However, he proceeds to get quickly woken up by a punch from Lazulu. Anyways, it seems Glaceon doesn't want to smack Jolteon into oblivion for now, at least, as she's actually apologizing to him, even if it's implied her sister forced her to do it. Anyways, it seems Jolteon is rightfully angered by the fact that he was woken, but he still accepts the apology nonetheless, asking her to get out. However, it seems Glaceon wanted an apology back, feeling the two were equally responsible for the situation that occurred. And Jolteon seems to brush the idea off. After all, to him, the whole thing was her fault. However, it's pretty evident Glaceon doesn't take kindly to this, grabbing Jolteon by the mane and holding her fist up with a dark shade erupting on her face. It's expected another beating is to come into the poor Jolteon's life. However, this time, he's lucky, as familiar Leafeon stops in to calm her sister down, almost knowing she would try this. We then see in the background, Pearl has taped Black's mouth shut, and is seemingly torturing him, or something along those lines. This hands back to my previous statement about how Espeon was reluctant about changing rooms, even though this didn't stop her in the process. We find Speedy, who seemingly has had enough of this, attempts to walk out of the room, but instead, he gets slammed into the wall by the unknowing Sylvia, who is seemingly looking for Pearl. Jolteon, dizzily falling into the ground, proceeds to remark, "Could this day get any worse?" And that ends the chapter, folks. I hope you have a good day, night, or whoever who's reading this. Peace out! Hello, welcome to the reading of Eeveelution Squad by Viper and Venom. Okay, yeah, I can't hold that voice for like 10 minutes while I'm recording, so yeah, that's a bad idea. We then see Jolteon talking to his big bro. Wait, did I really write big bro? This is like Flare. What? Did I write that in the script? Now, the two of them met before in Special Chapter 1, seemingly having Crush. Sorry, I lost my ways. Can I do a female voice? Let's try it. Sorry, I lost my ways. No. Sorry, I lost my ways. That's just my normal voice, but it's more pathetic. Sorry. No, that's just. Okay, I'll just do my normal voice. I can't voice act a female. Me and my manly voice. Oh, wait. Do I have to keep saying because is that gonna get bleeped out? YouTube, please don't. I'm out of water. I need to get more water. Oh boy. Good water. Stay hydrated. This is a message from Viper.